Good morning, Flash to Full Time. Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. I'm going to hop on my computer really quick because I know comments have not been showing up in lives on your phone because Facebook is crazy. So I'm going to pull this up on the computer so I can watch for comments on the computer. Now I'm going to try not to watch for comments too much because if you know me, I will get very distracted, and I already am long-winded and I already get distracted and I will talk forever. So if you think this is going to be quick, it's not. I'm just going to tell you that. Flash to Full Time. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Yay! I can see comments on here. Let me mute myself on the computer before I hear myself because I don't want to hear myself. See comments on here. Oh, stop. Okay. Hey, Hannah. Hey, Rachel. Okay. Yeah, see, I can see on here on my phone, who's watching, but your comments only show on the computer. Why, Facebook? Why? Who is ready to talk all things leadership? I'm Morgan McGee. If you don't know me, I'm the Superstar Director for the Magnificent Superstars. I've been with Scentsy since 2014, so I've been doing this for 8.5 years. I cannot believe that I'm coming up on 9 years. It's crazy. This is the definitely the longest job I've ever held and the only job I've ever loved. So it doesn't feel like work most of the time. When I joined just because I was a dental hygienist. We were living paycheck to paycheck. My husband was in the Army. I loved Scentsy, but I couldn't afford to buy it. So that is why I joined. I joined because I loved it. I fell in love with the washer whips. I fell in love with Dulce de Leche and blueberry cheesecake and all the bakery scents and all the Halloween warmers. And I had to join so that I could get free and half off or discounts on the things I couldn't afford. And nobody knew what Scentsy was that I knew. No family, no friends. I didn't really know anybody at all. I lived 24 hours away from family. We had really just moved there. So, yeah, it was like the definition of all the excuses I could have had in the world, but I didn't use them as excuses. I used them as motivation to share these products with my family and friends who didn't know what Scentsy was, share my love for it. And I did not want a team. I just wanted to do this for some extra income so that I could take my husband on a date night, or because we loved hibachi and we couldn't go eat hibachi whenever we wanted to. And maybe go get my nails done because I couldn't do that either. So, it's crazy. You go to school for a job you think is going to be such a good career, and you're making $35 an hour, and you still are living paycheck to paycheck and have no freedom to just go do extra things. So that is, I have a dog hair in my mouth. I do have 2 dogs. I'm a mom of a 5-year-old, and I am 6 months pregnant today with a little girl. So, life has been chaotic the last year. I mean, our life has always been chaotic if you know our story, but really the last year in particular, because we moved last year at the beginning of the year. And then we found out we were pregnant after we had already moved, built me a custom office, all the things, but we were renting. And our house literally wasn't big enough for a family of 4, and businesses and all the things. So we bought a house a few months ago, and so we have just been working on that constantly, getting ready for the baby. A lot of different things are going on in our life, lots of other things that nobody really knows about, just a lot of things. So life has been very busy lately, and we like it that way. So it is. It's doggy glitter, and it's always on me, and I'm okay with that. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay, so first of all, I think I'm going to answer your questions first. I was kind of indecisive. I didn't know if I wanted to, do the training first. I guess it could go either way, but maybe I'll answer your questions first. What do y'all think? Want your questions answered first? Probably. Also, what's funny is when I joined, I didn't want a team, and I told my husband I didn't want a team. I didn't know what it meant to be a sponsor. I knew nothing about direct sales. I knew nothing about anything to do with Scentsy. Like, I was brand new to the products myself. And I didn't want to sponsor someone because I didn't know what I was doing. But the problem with that was I didn't realize what a blessing this business would turn into for my family. I became full-time Scentsy after a year. I quit my job as a dental hygienist. I gained all the freedom in the world and all the flexibility in the world to go over the road trucking with my husband, travel the world while still working Scentsy in that darn truck, doing Facebook parties, going down the road, mailing things from wherever we were at in the country for my customers, and then became a work from home mom, and that was my thing. I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm just not that. But I am someone who wants to work and provide for my family along with my husband and be at home and have flexibility to not miss anything ever and be able to work my business around my life instead of work my life around my business. So that is like my dream. And now that we're going to have a second baby, my son's in kindergarten, so he's in school, but we're going to have a second baby, and I'm going to have this business that has blessed us so much, and I can't do anything but be thankful and just so grateful for what this business has done for us. We went from filing bankruptcy years ago to now I'm a six-figure earner, so it really has completely changed our life, not just financially, but the freedom I have, the person I am, the personal growth I've had, the leader I've become that I didn't know I was born to be. I hope that I can teach you so many things today that maybe you don't believe right now, or maybe you don't believe in yourself right now, but I hope that you can take so much away from today. So I'm going to answer y'all's questions first. Don't mind me if I have to get up and use the bathroom. Like I said, I'm 6 months pregnant. I drink a lot of water, and I feel like I live in the bathroom. So there's that. So I'm going to answer these questions. I saw a trend in these questions, and I was talking to my husband about this last night. I was like, you know what? Look at these questions. And I said, I see a trend with this. I see all of these leaders, not all. There's the hair. I finally got it. Not all, but most of the questions were related to dragging your team along and making people work and making people motivated and feeling like that's your job to keep people motivated. It is not your job to keep people motivated. So I hope that you all feel a sense of relief when I tell you that. It is not your job to keep people motivated. It is their job to keep them motivated. And most people don't have internal motivation. And that is why we have to grow our teams. If everybody had internal motivation and everyone showed up to work every day and everyone wanted all these things, our whole company would be superstar directors. Our whole company would be directors. But that's not the case. Most people quit direct sales. There's all kind of statistics out there if you look, percentages, whatever, people who quit direct sales. It's the common trend. People try it. They don't get rich overnight, or they find that it's a little bit hard and they're not willing to do the work. Or they don't believe in themselves. That's the biggest thing, I think, is belief. They don't believe in themselves because maybe nobody around them believes in them. My husband was unsure of this business when I started it because he didn't know anything about it either. Neither did I. I was kind of skeptical about it myself. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. And, then I started hearing other people's stories and hearing what it had done for them. And bless it, Lord, I'm already out of breath. Whew. We've been doing this 15 minutes, and I'm like, I already did a workout this morning and everything, and I'm still out of breath. But, you just can't make people work. So the first question was, how do you balance business hours with leading your team? I've got a tickle and a cough too, so that's fun. How do you balance your business hours with leading your team? I feel like if someone on my team asks me a question, I have to answer them immediately because I don't want them to struggle or lose a sale because I wasn't responsive enough. I know that's probably crazy. We have group chats and others can help. It just makes me feel like a bad leader. It is not your job to be there for anyone 24/7. It is your job to have boundaries, to set the expectations for people to respect those boundaries. This starts in your personal life. How are your boundaries in your personal life? Ask yourself that. Who do you allow yourself to be around? Who do you allow into your life? Who do you allow to suck your energy? Who do you allow to bring negativity into your life? What is your circle like? What are your top 5 people that you surround yourself with like? Somebody talked about that already. Whitney, I think. You are the direct reflection of the top 5 people you surround yourself with. You are the direct reflection of what kind of energy you're allowing into your life, whether that's people, whether that's TV shows, whether that's a negative reels, negative. A big example for me, mom Instagrams. Reels of people talking about how their kids do this and that, and it's all negative. That's a big problem for me. People talking about all the things their husbands do wrong. That's a big problem for me. Those are things I will not associate with. They're not. And that's because I've worked really hard on my mental, my mindset. And Crystal did a whole training on this. I've worked so hard on my mindset that I have to have boundaries in place to protect that. And if you're not protecting that, you're not going to sustain that mindset. So careful with your boundaries. And that starts with personal life, and it carries over to your team, and it carries over to your customers. Boundaries are not just for your team. They're for your customers also. Know what brings you stress. Know where your priorities are. Put your family first. Your spouse is first, if you have one. Your kids are second, if you have kids. Start there. If you don't, you know what priorities need to be first. Your family, your mom, your whoever. Those are the things that come first. Your values, the things you value most, the things that really truly matter in life. Those are the things that have to come first. Then you plan your business boundaries around that. When do you absolutely refuse to work? Turn your phone on Do Not Disturb at that time. You have an automatic Do Not Disturb setting on your phone. It will set it on that time automatically every single day. So my phone is on Do Not Disturb from 4 p.m., which is when I get home from getting my son from school, to about, I think I have it set for 9 o'clock a.m. It's on Do Not Disturb right now because I don't want to be disturbed while I'm trying to do this training. I have a few people that I allow to text me during that time. My husband, my mom, family, and my best friend. So, and then I also have it set where if somebody calls twice, it'll come through. But that is how you can train yourself and train your mind to do anything. So I used to be on 24/7. I would work all the time. I would answer questions all the time. I would answer questions at midnight. Now I won't even stay up until midnight because I take care of myself. I get my rest. I put me first. And, you know, I used to burn out like at least twice a year because I had no boundaries. I had no work hours. I had no expectations set with my team. Like, I'm not going to respond to you until the next day if you text me at this time. It's perfectly fine with me if my team messages me at 12 o'clock at night, as long as they know they're not going to get a response until the next day when I'm available, because it's not my job to be there for them 24/7. I love them. They know that, but they also know that I respect myself, my mindset, my boundaries, my happiness, and they in turn respect that. And no, not everyone's going to respect that. No, you're never going to please everybody. There's going to be a lot of people who don't like you. You don't have to like everyone either. It's fine. You're working with a lot of women. I have almost 2,000 people in my group, and they're mostly women, and it can get interesting. And it can suck you dry if you let it, but it doesn't have to. The bigger my team got, the more I implemented boundaries and the less I felt like I was having to constantly respond to people. So, and I had to train my brain and force myself and be intentional with, if you get a message, do not look at your phone right now. It is fine. You put your phone in the other room. If you're off business hours, put your dang phone in the other room so that you don't have to look at it, okay? Like, whatever you have to do, train yourself. So there's no reason you should be burning out as a leader. There's no reason you should be feeling like you're trying to be there for everybody 24/7. This is their business, not your business. Your job as a leader is to lead them, not to hold their hand 24/7. You would not have a life if you answered everyone's messages 24/7. So for me, like I said, my business hours are about 10 to 4 every single day. I have built that. That is not what they used to be. I have built that. I have built that flexibility and freedom to set those hours how I want them to be. So I think that answered also the one about setting the boundaries for your customers, hosts, consultants. Communicate it to your customers and team. That's all you can do. Communicate it. Tell them, here's my business hours. When I onboard a new team member, the first message they get from me at the end says, my business hours are this time to this time. If you message me after this time, I will do my best to respond, because it's a new team member, But it's most likely going to be the next day when I'm back in the office. Here's our team page. Post there. There will be somebody to help you if you can't get in touch with me. Or here's consultant support's number. Y'all, we are not the only ones that can help our team. We have, if you're not a director yet, they have a director also that they could reach out to. They have an SSD that they could reach out to. It's a chain of command. Sponsor, then director, then superstar director. They also have consultant support. They also have their workstation. Everything's in their workstation. So you are not the only one that can help them. And I know it's hard. I used to be the person, I was a people pleaser. I wanted to be there for everybody 24/7. I felt the same way as y'all do who are struggling with this. I promise I've been there, but I've changed it. And so I want you to see that you can change it too. Motivation. Trying to get consultants motivated to even try. You've offered giveaways. You're always sending information. You always say something like, let's max those paydays. Some people could care less about a payday. Some people want a payday, but they don't want to do the work. You can't change that. That's on them. If they don't have internal motivation to show up and work when they're tired or when whatever, they're not going to. Nothing you do or say is going to make them. So your job is to continue to lead by example. Do the things in your business you are supposed to do. Show your team how you're working. Don't just tell them what to do. And never ask them to do anything that you haven't done. I don't mean to be pointing at you, by the way. That I just talk with my hands. But you're never going to make people work. You're just not. It's not possible. This is something that I was talking to my husband about too when we were talking about these questions y'all were asking. Like, I used to struggle with this because I am a hard worker and I will show up regardless. And I am internally motivated because I have a big enough why for showing up every single day. If you think your team is supposed to stay motivated, I want you to ask yourself if you stay motivated every single day. I know none of you do. It's not normal. Like, you're not going to be motivated every single day. The difference is, are you committed enough to a big enough purpose and a big enough why to show up and message a customer, to do a follow-up, to book a party anyway? Is your vision strong enough that you don't care how sick you are, you don't care, not saying you shouldn't rest when you're sick, like, take care of yourself. You don't have to work while you're sick. But I lost my train of thought. anyway, you're not always motivated, and your team is not going to be either. And all of you here who are trying to get to a full-time income with this, if everybody on your team wanted to work like you, they would be here too. So I want you to think about these things. You can't drag people. If you drag people, you're going to be miserable as a leader. So please don't do that. Work with the people who are willing, work with the people who are hungry, work with the people who are coachable, work with the people who actually take your advice and implement it. Those are your rising leaders. Those are who are going to build your business. And we're going to talk about paychecks. I'm going to show you breakdowns of paychecks, of my paychecks, where the money came from, all the things. And I need you to know how important it is to recruit. I built my business to where it is, almost 200 frontline I have now that I've maintained for the last 2 years. 3 years. And you know why? It's not because 200 frontline have stayed around. It's because I continue to recruit. I'm recruiting wide. And if you don't recruit wide, your group, your team is never going to grow deep. Because if you don't recruit a lot of people, nobody's going to be recruiting. Because about 1 out of 10 people are going to actually work. So keep that in mind. If you have a team of 2 and you think they're both going to work every single month, you're probably wrong. 1 out of 10 people are going to work. I'd say 1 out of 20 people are going to truly show up every single day and do every single thing they're supposed to do. That's just a guess. You know, as an example, I have a group of 1471 right now. Last year it was way bigger. It was like 1,700. That shows you right there. Not everybody works. We were also in hypergrowth. Like, it was just a weird year. But 1471. I have probably 15 to 20 directors and above. Directors and star directors. That shows you how many people are really, truly hungry, willing, and coachable. And all of you here are hungry, willing, and coachable. And you will be directors. If you believe that. Okay. So stop offering incentives to try to force people to work. That's my point. You don't have to do that. I don't do that. I haven't done that in years. And the people who want to work, they work. People who don't, they don't. It's just the way it is. You learn to accept it as a leader. Okay. If y'all have like additional questions as we go, I'm watching over here. If you see me, keep looking off to the side. Yes, what Hannah said, you cannot make people work, but you can show them why they want to. That's where it comes in, being a leader, asking questions, trying to get them to evaluate, why am I here? You know, and some people will tell you, I want all these huge things. They'll say, my kids mean the world to me. I want to be home with my kids. I want to do this. And they still don't. They still don't do the actions that they're supposed to do. And that's okay. It's not your job to fix that. You can't. It's impossible. Now, one day they may have a mind shift, like some of the people here have, like Jill had, like Crystal had. And it's just, sometimes it's just a matter of time something clicks. And that is not something I made them do. That just happened for them. So, how do you direct and encourage your team to use their resources like the workstation, team groups, etc. to find their answers? I kind of touched on that already. Yes, see, like, I'm only one person working 12-hour shifts, 5 to 6 days a week, and I do enjoy helping my teamies, but I'm not always available when they need answers, as you should not be. and I still have a family I want to spend time with when I'm not working. So what's priorities for you? Work and your family. Then you can talk to your team. And you just have to, like I said, communicate, set the expectations. They need to know, like, put it on the banner of your team page, email it out to every single person, text it out to every single person, whatever you have to do. These are my business hours. Here is why. Because the problem is, if you are constantly answering people and you are constantly on, not only are you going to get burnt out and it's bad for your mental health, you're going to be showing your team the wrong way to lead. Because you're the example. Like I said, that's your job, is to lead by example. And the things you're doing are the things they're going to do. They're looking at you and learning from you. Whether you think so or not, they are. So if you are working 24/7, they're going to think, wow, I never want to be a director. They work so much. She has to be exhausted. It's not worth it. How do you lead your team to be inspired with their business? I like this question because you're not asking, how do you lead your team to be motivated? Motivation and inspiration are two totally different things. I'm here right now inspiring you. I'm not here right now motivating you. You are motivating you to be here. Why did you show up today? That came from within you. I'm here inspiring you. I'm here telling my story. I'm here talking about my growth. I'm here talking about things I've changed in leadership to inspire you to do better, to be happier, to be in a better headspace as a leader, to know when you have a team of 2 how to set boundaries, and you don't have to learn that when you have a team of 200 like I did. So how do you teach your team to be I'm sorry, y'all. I've had this itchy throat, scratchy cough thing. So when I start talking a lot, it's a problem. It's just, you show up. You show them what you're doing. You tell your story. You care about them. And we're going to talk more in depth about this stuff. And I know it's already been 30 minutes. Just, I'm sorry. I don't talk for 20 minutes. I can't do it. And then this is the same. Okay. So I hope that helped. We're going to talk more in depth about all these things. I want to talk about just how to be a good leader and a mentor. And I think a lot of you are probably overcomplicating it like I did. That's why I didn't want a team. I thought it was going to be all this responsibility, and like I was going to have to make people work, and I was going to be responsible for everyone's success, and you're not. And when the sooner you can let go of that, the happier you're going to be in leadership. You're going to be a happy leader who can pour into others because your cup is going to be full. If you're constantly letting everyone suck you dry, you're going to have no cup to pour from. So the first thing is, and take notes if you can, because some of these things are really things you need to write down. You need to look at every single day, maybe put it on a Post-it note somewhere, or just come back to it. But the first thing is, leadership is not a title, it's who you are. And you have to believe that. Leadership has nothing to do with if you're a lead consultant, a director, a superstar director. It does not matter. Your title does not matter. There are superstar directors who are not leaders. There are superstar directors who are incredible leaders. There are lead consultants who are incredible leaders. And that's every single one of you here. If you were not a good leader, you wouldn't be here trying to grow in your business. You're taking the initiative to try to grow in your business to help your teams grow in their business. When they see you doing these things, they're going to do these things. When they see you go to events, they're going to go to events. If you're expecting your team to do 8 parties a month and you're not doing 8 parties a month, or you haven't done 8 parties a month, that's not okay. If you're expecting your team to recruit 2 new people a month and you're not doing that, that's not okay. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some of you, but it is so true. You cannot expect people to do something you're not doing. That's toxic leadership. And you have to believe that you're a leader. I don't care if you're a certified consultant. You are a leader. You lead your household. You lead your kids if you have kids. You may be a leader at work. You lead your business. You're a business owner. You lead your customers. You are a leader. And you need to write that down on a Post-it note and stick it somewhere that you're going to see it every single day. I am a leader. It is who I am. If you're focused on a title, if you think you're going to be a leader when you reach director, you're wrong. You need to be doing the things a director does now if you want to become a director. So act like one. If you want to be a director, act like a director. Leadership is who you are. Leaders and successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. So you should be consistently doing high PRV every month. You should consistently be sponsoring every single month. You should consistently be having conversations to get new Scentsy Clubbers every month. You should consistently be partying every month. You should consistently be networking every month. These are things that most people do occasionally. But if you want to be successful in this business and you want to lead well, you need to be consistent with everything you do. Show up every single day. Every single day, that's a work day. I take weekends off. I don't touch Scentsy on the weekends. The most I touch Scentsy on the weekends is on Sunday night when I'm planning my week. So, and there's exceptions. There's seasons, there's exceptions. Last night I did this because I wanted it to be fresh. But I decided that on Friday. Like, I have some things I want to do today for work, so I'm gonna, and I needed to do my meal planning and all that, so I did that, and then I was like, Sunday night, I'll type out the outline, like get it all out of my head onto paper so that it's fresh. There's exceptions, that's fine. But leaders and successful people do consistently what others do occasionally. You're intentional. You have good habits. You show up every single day. You're consistent. Think about the leaders you want to be like. What do they do? What do they do in their personal life? How are their boundaries? What do they do in their business every day? How do they work? I can promise you they're not just working when they want to work. I can promise you they don't have crappy habits. I can promise you they don't surround themselves with crappy people. So your leadership is a direct reflection of your habits. What are your habits like? Are you intentional every single day? Or do you let your day run you? Do you run your day or do you let your day run you? It's a big question to ask yourself. You are in control of your day. You are in control of your mindset for your day. And if you wake up and go straight to work, or you wake up and go straight to a negative thought, you're setting the tone for a bad day. You're setting yourself up for failure. You control your day. If you need to get up 15 minutes earlier to get your mind right in the mornings, whatever that looks like for you, do it. It starts with many habits. The problem with a lot of people is they try to do too much. They try to do too much. This is something my husband is guilty of. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this. But he used to have a lot of weight he needed to lose, and he would try to tell himself, I'm going to get up at this time, and I'm going to work out, and I'm going to eat like this, and I'm going to do this. And I was like, it ain't going to happen. You can't sustain that. You're not going to just do all these things. Like, if you know you need to get up earlier, start there. Just start with getting up earlier. Master that first, because that's the hardest thing. Master that first. Then start little by little changing your eating lifestyle, changing your working out regimen, changing whatever. For me, you know, a lot of people look at me and they're like, oh, she works out 5 days a week. Like, it's so easy for her. It didn't start that way. I started 3 days a week until I mastered that. Then I moved forward. You know, I drink nothing but water. I used to hate water. Now I have a cup of water in my hand at all times. That didn't just start easily or overnight. That was a mini habit. That was something I'm like, okay, what am I focused on now? I'm getting up earlier. Now I'm going to focus on drinking more water. I'm not going to just try to drink nothing but water all day. I'm still going to allow myself to have, you know, like a sparkling water flavored something for dinner until I get in the habit of liking water more. So then it became, okay, I think I'm ready to cut that out. Years later now, it's all I drink. Like, I don't care. I don't care about other drinks. It's a drink. It's not a big deal to me. I'll drink water. I feel better. I have more energy. You know, it's worth it to me. My point is, many habits are so important. And if you try to do too much at one time, you're going to fail. It's going to be way too hard. It's not going to be sustainable. And you want sustainability and consistency. So, you know, whatever you're trying to master in life, in your business, whatever it is, start small. Start small. I'm an overachiever. I get it. I'm an overthinker. I'm an overachiever. Actually, I'm not an overthinker or an overachiever. I've recently changed my mindset around these things. I don't identify as these things. I have overthinking tendencies, and I have a tendency to be an overachiever. I have overachiever qualities. Okay? I'm not those things. Those are not who I am. And so I can change that. That's within my control. You are in control of every single habit, every single thought, not every single thought, but we can't control every single thought we have, but you can control the majority of your thoughts. You can go from negative thought to positive thought in a matter of this fast. So, you have to remember that. You have to remember you are in control. There's a lot of things we can't control. I get that. But you are in control of how you respond to those things. Another mini habit. This is a very important one. Is your day planned before you go to bed? Do you plan your whole week out at the beginning of the week? Jill has talked about this. It is so important. Every single Sunday night, it is a boundary, I guess, of mine. I take 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes. You could sit and scroll Facebook for 20 minutes before you ever even knew it. That's where intentionality comes into play. Yes, Whitney, I know. I used to do the same thing. I get it. But intentionality, planning your month. So at the beginning of the month, I plan the whole month out. I know what appointments I have. I know what practices we have for T-ball. I know what games we have. I know everything. What appointments my son has. Whatever we have going on. Do we have an anniversary? Are we going to be going out to dinner? Are we going to be doing this, that, whatever? Plan all that. Then you plan your business around that. Yes, the 30-10 system. They talked about it at World Tour. If you haven't had a World Tour yet, they're going to talk about that. The 30-10 system. It's exactly what I have done for years. Basically, they say take 30 minutes to plan your week and then 10 minutes every morning to plan your day, but I'm not about that. I don't agree with that. I think you should take 10 minutes every night to look at your next day. First of all, to brain dump, because if you're like me, you can't go to sleep because your head's spinning, because you're thinking about this and that and this and that. Like sometimes I'll lay down and my husband's already snoozing. He goes to sleep so fast. Men, I don't know how they do it. But I'll lay down and I'm like, I forgot to put something on my to-do list for tomorrow. And so I have to get out of bed and go into the kitchen and write it on my to-do list, or go into my office and write it on my business to-do list. It has to be out of my brain for me to go to sleep. So I'm planning my day every single night. When I wake up to this right here. Okay, this is I use a Happy Planner, and so I have everything in my Happy Planner. Okay, business and personal. But I use these daily planning sheets, and they have my top 3 priorities at the top. They're an hourly, actually every 30-minute planning sheet. So I know when I'm going to be working out, when I'm going to be showering and eating breakfast, when I'm going to be doing a training like this, what I'm going to be doing for my business, when I'm going to pick up my son from school, what's for dinner, and then it has a get it done list. So that's where I put my personal to-dos for the day. And then my 3 grateful for at the bottom. So 3 things I'm grateful for, and that's how I start my day. I wake up. I know exactly what my day is going to look like already. Now, yes, things happen, but that's the beauty of our job. We can push it off to the next day if something happens that's more important. We can work, 30 minutes that night if we have to, if something doesn't go work right. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but your day needs to be planned ahead of time. You need to be able to sit down to work on your couch, in your bed, at your desk, wherever you work, at your kitchen table, and you should not having to be sitting there going, what the fart am I supposed to do today? Where do I start? Because that is taking time away from work you could be doing. If your day was already planned, you could have already started working. And that's what leaders do. That's what successful people do. They plan their week at the beginning of the week. And every single night, they look over that, to make changes. Maybe something changed that came up. Okay, so this is happening this day now. So what do I need to tweak? What do I need to add to my to-do list? What did I not get done today that I can do tomorrow? Like last night, I didn't get my new office drawers put together. So what did I do? I put it on my list for today. So, planning. Start your day intentionally. Start your day in a positive mindset. Whatever that looks like for you. Whether that is getting up and praying first thing, whether that's gratitude journaling, whether it's some other kind of journaling, whether it's working out first thing in the morning, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's reading your Bible. What else? Listening to a podcast, reading a book. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy and gets you into a good mindset. Hey, I see comments now. Yay. So start your day intentionally, because that's going to set your mindset for the whole day. Prioritize. Again, block your time. Set alarms. I have a daily alarm for when I'm supposed to leave to go get my kid. Because I'm so into what I'm doing, I need a reminder that, hey, it's time to leave. I need a reminder to eat lunch. That's where we're at. And with this pregnant brain, it's 10 times worse than it already is. So, people say all the time, oh, I can't remember to do that. And I'm like, we live in a world where you have a reminder right on your phone. I don't want to hear that. Set an alarm. If you can't remember things, make yourself remember things by setting an alarm or setting a reminder or telling Alexa to set a reminder or telling Alexa to set a timer for 15 minutes so that you can work uninterrupted and put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You would be amazed what you can get done in 15 minutes if you're uninterrupted and not like a squirrel. So be intentional. Block your time, set your priorities straight first. Block your time, set alarms, use reminders, do not disturb, whatever you have to do. And only do the things that matter. Do the things that matter first. Aw, Shelby, you're very welcome. I love that. That makes me happy. See, that is why I do what I do. And to think that I didn't want to be a leader. I'm right here inspiring y'all today, and you can do this for people too. 8 years ago, I was terrified to even record a video. We didn't have live back then. I was terrified to even record a video. And I could have sat in that, and I could have not done it. And I could have, you know, sat in my what do you call it? Where you feel like you're not worthy of being a leader. Something syndrome. What is it called? Telling you I have no brain left after this baby. Somebody tell me. I know somebody knows what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. I could have sat in that, not feeling like I was worth leading people. Not feeling imposter syndrome. Yes, thank you, Whitney. I love you. Imposter syndrome. Sitting in that. Saying, I'm terrified to go speak at World Tour. I'm terrified to go speak at Cincy Family Reunion. If you are terrified to do something, and I just talked to another director about this, the other star director, about this the other day. If you are terrified to do something, you better go do it. Because it is growth. Growth is never comfortable. It's going to help you grow. It's going to lead your team by example. If you get offered to speak somewhere, take the offer. I'm telling you, if I wouldn't have took that offer years ago, I would be comfortable. And you should never be comfortable. You should never be comfortable. If you get comfortable, then you're stagnant. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So you need to always be growing, and growth is uncomfortable. So if you're not growing and you're not getting out of your comfort zone, your team's not going to do that. Again, you can't expect your team to get out of their comfort zone if you're not getting out of yours. And yours as a leader may look different than theirs. You may have already got out of the comfort zones that they're getting out of. Like me, I've already got out of the going live comfort zone years ago. Does my heart still race when I hit the live button? Absolutely. But that's growth. If y'all saw my first YouTube video, it was so awkward. So awkward. Like, I'm just sitting there like, why am I staring at my laptop, talking to my laptop? This is so freaking weird. But I gotta do this because I know that I'm gonna be successful from doing this. I know my customers need to see my face. I know my customers need to hear my voice that I hated at the time. Hated hearing my voice. Hated the way I sounded. Hated my acne. Hated the way I looked. You know, and now I'm like, you know what? Who the freak cares? Who cares? If somebody's going to judge me for going live without makeup on or for going live with a mess in the background, I don't need them in my life anyway. Okay? So, if you suffer with imposter syndrome, keep doing the scary things. Sorry, somebody just tried to call. Keep doing the scary things until you feel confident in it. Confidence is not something that just comes. It comes over time. It is a learned skill. It is something you learn. So for me, for years, I built my business on Facebook Live parties. The first few, I was terrified. I messed up things. I left things out. I did this and that. And then I realized, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. I have perfectionism tendencies, and I had to get over that. So, you know, I would go live with I'd wear my son in his carrier and do my Facebook parties because that's what I had to do. If I wanted to be successful, that's what I had to do. I would go live with a 2-year-old that was literally destroying everything on my Facebook party display. And I was sweating profusely by the end of the live because I'm like trying to keep him from breaking a warmer or turning over wax or whatever. That is what worked. And that is relatable. And that is what people want to see. They don't want to see perfect. They don't want to think that they need to be perfect. And if they see you perfect, they're going to think they need to be perfect. So remember that. I think that is so important for y'all to remember. And as a leader, remember that. Be vulnerable. Show your team that you struggle too, but how you respond to it. That is what's going to teach them not to give up. How to respond to negative things. How to respond to struggles. You learn to rest. You learn to pivot. You learn to focus on what you can control. You don't just quit. That's not what we do. If you quit, you're quitting on your dreams. You're quitting on your family. You're quitting on yourself. Because nobody else made you quit. That's you. Okay. Again, lead by example. What are your habits? What are you showing your team that you're doing? They don't care what you're telling them to do. They want to see you doing the things. So in our group, we have a hashtag called How I'm Working, and I share how I'm working, whether it's a screenshot of a conversation where I'm talking to somebody about club or booking or a join conversation or something I posted in my stories or a tip that I have or samples I'm making or sharing a template from Canva or whatever. You need to be sharing these things and showing them how to work. Go the way, show the way, know the way, go the way, show the way. They don't care if you're telling them what to do. That's a manager. That's not a leader. Okay? Don't be a manager. So, are you doing the things that you need to be doing to lead your team by example? Networking, talking to people, one-on-one conversations, like actually talking to people. Growing wide, aka recruiting consistently, at least 2 a month. And working with the willing to build leaders. Are you partying? Are you doing 2,000 PRV a month? Are you having 2 new recruits every month? Are you striving for 2 new clubbers every single month? What you do is what your team will do. The ones that want to work. I'm just skipping some of this because I've already said some of it when I was doing the Q&A. The leaders who get the most out of their people are those who care about their people. If you are only talking to your team when it's the end of the month and you need to reach a goal, or if you are always making it about you, or if you need to be paid at title and you're making posts like, I need to be paid at title, here's what our team needs to do. Y'all, if you do this, I'm sorry, I still love you, but it's so tacky. And your team does not want that. They want to be cared about. What do you want? What do you want? You want to be cared about. You want to be valued. You want to feel valued. Your team needs that. They need that same thing. They need value. They need connection. They need to be cared about. And guess what? You'll have all these hobbyists that you need. We need hobbyists. Most of our team members are going to be hobbyists. They add so much volume. When you see these bonuses I earned from hobbyists, you're going to be like, whoa, if I actually grew my front line to 20, 25, 30, then 40, then 50, most of them are going to be certified or essential, and your biggest bonus comes from those people. Okay? You need hobbyists. And those people are going to stick around when they feel cared for, when they feel like they belong, when they have a community to be a part of, when Cincy's their happy place, when they feel loved, they're going to stick around. So create a sticky culture. Know what you want for your team. Create a sticky culture that people just stick to like glue and they never want to leave. They could never even imagine leaving. Again, people are still going to leave because you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but you don't like everybody either, and that's okay. Everyone is not for everyone. You need to connect. You need to serve. You need to stay connected with your team members. You need to serve your team. You need to be a servant leader. Serve your team well, just like you try to serve your customers well. You need to make it about them at all times. If you are trying to reach a goal, here's how not to reach your goal. Asking them to put in a certain amount to help you reach your goal. You know how you reach your goal as a leader? You ask them what goal they're striving for and ask them how you can help them reach that goal. That's about them. Once they reach that goal, guess what happens? You're going to reach your goals. But it is never about you. It's never about us as the leader. And if you think it is, You're never going to have success in this business. You're never going to get to the top. You're never going to experience true success if you think this is about you. Whitney said it froze. Let me make sure that it's not for everybody. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Okay. So focus on servant leadership. It's always about them. And you will feel so good, so much better about yourself when you are just loving on people and you genuinely care about people. And how much they're going to come to you and thank you and tell you how much you've inspired them. And, you know, down the road, you're going to have people come up to you at SFR wanting to meet you, wanting to hug you, just wanting to tell you that thank you for what you've done for them. And this is something that I never saw happening, that years ago, I didn't believe I had any value to add. I didn't believe I was good enough to do a training. I didn't believe I was good enough to go live for my team. I didn't think I could teach them anything. And now these are things that are happening. And I'm like, what? How? I'm just a normal person, but like, I have finally realized that this is my purpose. I have a gift from God that I can inspire people, whether I believe it or not, it's happening. And everybody telling me that it's happening is a confirmation of that. So you can do hard things. You can do scary things. You are worthy. You are capable. You are incredible. You are amazing. You were built for big things, or you wouldn't be here. So step into that. Believe in that. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it's nobody else's job to believe in you. It's nobody else's job to be your cheerleader. It's your job to do that. It starts with you. You don't need other people to believe in you to be successful. You prove them wrong. You believe in yourself until you prove them wrong. Turn them into a believer. So you want to have you-centered leadership instead of me-centered leadership, which means listen more than you talk. Ask questions. A good leader asks questions. Ask them questions that help them answer their, I don't even know how to word this. Leaders ask questions. They don't just give answers. If somebody comes to you and they say, I can't book a party, you're going to ask questions at that point. You're not going to say, okay, here's a video on how to do it. You're going to ask them, okay, you can't book a party. What does your wording look like? How many people have you asked? Have you asked 2 people or have you asked 30 people? Ask them questions until they figure out themselves what they're doing wrong or what they can work on. And there's nothing wrong with giving them resources, but you have to ask questions first. Empower your people. This is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing I learned in 2019-ish or 2018. Probably 2019. When you see my paychecks as an SSD, you'll kind of see. I promoted in 17, and then I wasn't paid at title for 2 years straight after that. You know why? Because I stopped building leaders. I wasn't empowering people. I was trying to do everything myself. Because again, I have a tendency to want to control everything and do everything myself, and I think I can do everything myself, and you should never be doing everything yourself as a leader. You need to empower your rising leaders to step into doing the things that you're doing. Ask them to do a training. Tell them how amazing they are at whatever you see them doing good at, and ask them to share their tips on that. My team page is not a me page. It's not about me. It's about my team. And it's not just me sharing how I'm working all the time and me doing all these trainings. No, it is full of all kinds of people popping on there, sharing how they're working, popping on there, doing a live sometimes to show how they're working. Because they're empowered. They have been empowered to believe in themselves and that they have value to add. You have to empower your people. You have to believe in them because most of them don't believe in themselves. Reach out to them. Tell them what they're doing awesome. Recognize what you want repeated. Tell them what they're doing awesome. Ask them to share it. Ask them to share it. Ask them to share it. Ask them to lead a training. Ask them to be on a training with you until they do it. And none of this that I've told you is going to be successful if you're not consistently growing your team. Just like if you're not consistently growing your customer base, you're going to wear people out. You're going to exhaust them asking them to book a party constantly. But if you're consistently adding new contacts to your list, if you're consistently adding new team members to your team, adding new blood, as we say, you're going to get the yeses. You're going to find the people who want to work. You have to recruit the many to find the few. That is something I have lived by since I first heard my dear friend Katie Farner say it years ago when I found her on YouTube and didn't even know her at the time. She said, you have to recruit the many to find the few. And I said, you know what? I'm going to recruit a freaking lot of people because I'm building this business. I'm changing my family's life. I'm not sitting in a dentist office with back pain and not liking my job and working for someone else for the rest of my life. I'm not doing it. I'm not putting my kid in daycare to go to work every day. I'm not doing it. So, empower your people. Recruit your little butt off and work with the people who want to be worked with. Those are the people deserving of your time. You should not be giving all of your time to energy vampires, people that are just going to suck your energy dry and they're not even going to do what you're telling them to do. Work with the people who want to be worked with. Work with the willing, work with the hungry, work with the coachable. And you will find those people when you have recruited enough people. Reward and recognize what you want repeated. It does not need to cost you money. It does not need to cost you money. Send them a text message. Tell them what a good job they're doing. Recognize them for being in the top PRV. Whatever. It doesn't need to cost you money. Stop looking at the things that other leaders are doing and comparing. Because comparison is the worst trap you can ever fall into. If you're following a leader that is doing all these things and you think that you're supposed to be doing all these things and it's bringing stress to you, either stop following them or learn to control your thoughts and your mindset and say, I don't need to do all those things. I'm an incredible leader. I'm doing these other things that are amazing. Okay? Yes, like Hannah said, and I'm about to talk about this because it's going to go hand in hand with homework. Work with your top 20%. And that may be more like 10% if your team's small right now, obviously. If you have 2 team members, it may be nobody. You may need to grow more. So, when you're working with these people, when you're working with the people who want to be worked with, who are hungry, who are willing, who are coachable, all you need to do is voice message back and forth with them. Voice message back and forth with them to help connect. That builds relationship. It builds connection. They need to hear your voice. And ask them questions. Ask them what they're working toward, how you can help them get there, what their struggles are, and figure out from there what you need to help them with. It's literally that simple. Connect with your team, work with them, and they're going to promote. Like, if you look at my paychecks in 2017 when I first promoted to SSD, and then you look at my paycheck the next year, it went majorly down. And I was like, what is happening? You know what happened? I reached SSD, and I guess I just thought I had made it because I had my 4 frontline directors and I thought they would be here forever. No. You're going to lose directors. You're going to lose frontline. You're going to lose consultants. You're going to lose directors. Once you hit director, your focus then shifts to, how do I build more directors? That's why you need to know how to build leaders. And if you reach star director or superstar director by building directors, and you just stop building directors, your business is going to go stagnant and your paychecks are going to be in the freaking toilet. Like, it's not going to be a good thing. So you have to consistently recruit and build leaders. Recruit, build leaders, recruit, build leaders, recruit, build leaders. Never ever stop. If you're not willing to do that, then you're not in the right place. So this business is a blessing. It is so rewarding. It is, I don't even have any words. Doing this is where my passion is, and it's crazy because I never thought it was. But your homework is going to be to reach out to 5 of your frontline or downline. Because you're going to coach your downline too. You're going to work with your downline. If they have a sponsor that's not a leader or that's not willing to work with their team, that is your permission to step in and say, hey, I'm going to lead this person. I'm going to work with this person. I'm going to build a relationship with this person. A lot of my first generation directors, frontline directors, are not my frontline. And it's because I dug down deep to find people who didn't have sponsors who were working with them. I saw them in the top sales. I saw them sponsoring. When you see someone doing something they need to do, those are the people you work with. So reach out to 5 of your frontline or downline if you have 5. If not, reach out to whatever you have and ask how you can help them this month. Voice text them. That's literally your homework. You're welcome. And I want you to, I'll make a post that I want you to comment and share your screenshots, because you need to share your screenshots. You can also share them in your group messages, because I forget you have group messages. You can also share them there, discuss it. Start that conversation with them. It has to be a voice text. Start that conversation with them. Ask them how you can help this. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them how you can help them this month. What I do, I have started texting for recognition. I've always sent snail mail, and I was like, you know what? It's just not bringing me joy anymore. It costs a lot of money, because postage just keeps fucking going up. It's just not where I'm at anymore. I'm really trying to simplify because I'm about to have another baby. I'm really trying to simplify because I'm all about freedom now and flexibility, and I've built this business to where I can work for just a couple of hours a day and I'm good. And still make 6 figures. That's where you can be. I'm just saying. So, I have started texting for recognition. I send out a fun little graphic, free for me to make in Canva. And I tell them, congratulations for being top whatever out of whatever consultants. You are incredible. Congratulations on sponsoring someone. Congratulations on promoting. Congratulations on whatever you want to reward. Reward what you want repeated. So, if you're rewarding negative things, they're going to get repeated. But if you are rewarding the great things, they're going to get repeated. So, I'll text them, tell them that, and then I will use that as an opportunity to connect with them. Hey, they're a top producer. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, hey, what are we doing this month? What are we doing? Do you need anything from me? Like, what do you need from me? How can I help you? So reach out to 5 frontline or downline, or however many you have, if you have less, and ask them how you can help them this month. You may get no response. If you don't, who gives a fart? Like, it doesn't matter. I can reach out to 186 frontline using Visly, and I get 50 responses. So that tells you right there. So yeah, this has been a long training. I love y'all for hanging out with me. I love y'all for hanging in there. I'll be sharing all my paychecks with y'all. I'll be sharing one of my first director paychecks. I'll be sharing my first star director paycheck. I'll be sharing my first superstar director paycheck. And then I will be sharing one or two after that where I had slacked off on building, where my business started tanking because I didn't keep building directors and I had directors falling off and no more to replace them. Out of my first 4 directors that got me to SSD, I think 2 are still here because I'm trying to think of exactly which 4 got me there, but I think I still have 2. Now I have 8 first generation directors and then a whole, down line of second, third, fourth generation directors, because I've led by example and I've taught my directors how to build more directors. But then I'm going to show you that year later, where my business tanked. And then I'll probably show you another year later where I had started really working with my team intentionally and working with the Willing like I've told you to do today. And you will be amazed at the growth in my team, the growth in my group, the growth in my directors, the growth in my pay. It is insane. You can literally see a reflection of what I was doing in my business, in my paychecks. So I'm excited to share those with y'all. I have, I've really broke them down to where you can really understand it when you're looking at it. But if you still have questions, just comment on that thread and let me know, and I'll help you where I can. But I hope that it inspires you. I know a lot of you like to see numbers. If you're like me, you like to see numbers. You like to know what's possible. And not only see numbers of paychecks, but you also like to see what got that person that paycheck. So you're going to see all that. I'm going to post all that for you. So I love y'all so much. Just know that boundaries, connection, working with the Willing and not giving your time to the people who are just going to suck you dry, those are the most important things you can remember. Stay consistent, serve your people, love on your people. The garbage is running, so there's that. And just go be a great leader. It's already in you. You just have to believe it. I love y'all.